The CEOs of major airlines sending a letter to Treasury over the weekend. They want the $58 billion set aside for the companies to be dispersed quickly. Phil LeBeau joins us now with the full story. Hey, Phil.
Joe, they want the money as quickly as possible, and they also want to have other considerations from the Department of Transportation. We broke a story yesterday that they are in the process, the airlines are in the process of trying to consider whether or not to consolidate flights. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but here's the reason that the airlines want to move as quickly as possible. Look at the rapid drop in the number of people who have been screened by the TSA to fly. Essentially, this is how many people are flying every day. It dropped down to 184,027 people yesterday. Guys, a year ago, it was 2.1 million, and all the way back on March 16th, what is that, 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago? It was 1.25 million. So when you look at that decline, what you're seeing with the airlines, as you take a look at the airline index, you're seeing essentially a 91% decline year over year in the number of people who are flying right now. Seats, maybe 5 to 15% on most planes are being filled at any one time, and it's not uncommon when you talk with the airlines for them to admit, yeah, we've flown an empty plane here or there. And the airline executives all agree April will be worse than it was in March. With that in mind, Delta announcing that it will be stepping up its disinfecting of airplanes. They've been doing this on their international airplanes. Now they're going to be doing it for their domestic airplanes every night, overnight. They will be going through this process. We profiled this company a couple of weeks ago that has been doing this disinfecting. Now Delta says it's going to be stepping up the sanitizing of its airplanes. Delta is also offering free flights to medical professionals. You've seen these pictures, guys, of medical professionals from around the country who might be going to New York or might be going to Seattle or wherever there is a need right now. Delta says it is offering free flights to those medical professionals to assist them to get to where they are needed. And now to this question about what's going to happen with the airlines when it comes to potentially consolidating flights. I talked to several airline executives yesterday who have told me that they plan to have discussions with the Department of Transportation about the possibility of consolidating flights. Think of it this way, guys. You take a flight, say, from LaGuardia to St. Louis. Right now, you've got American, Delta, and Southwest who all do that route. Part of the agreement with the bailout from the government is you're essentially going to the best of your ability, keep your route structure in place. But if you're all flying planes with a handful of passengers on it, doesn't it make sense to all consolidate on one plane? Maybe it's Delta who does that run. And then on a different route, it might be American who takes the potential flight. So this is one idea that is being discussed. We reached out to the Department of Transportation. They are going to be having these discussions with airline executives this week. A lot of changes potentially to what we see with airline service because they've got to do something, guys. They are hemorrhaging cash. The bailout will help them. It's a definite need. The lifeline will help, but they need more help.
Hey, Phil, my only question as you cut back the number of planes that are running is, even if you were to swap off and say Delta's going to run this one, American's going to run this one,
right,
are they still going to make sure that there's enough space in between so that it's not a crowded flight? I mean, that's the
I don't think that, Becky. Well, first of all, Becky,
to run these empty flights.
First of all, Becky, we're at a point right now. You literally, and I got pictures sent to me by CEOs yesterday. You've got 4 people on a plane. I mean, on a 170-seat plane. Even if you consolidate all of that, you're going to have plenty of room. And all of the airlines are practicing what they call social distancing, where they are spreading out the plane, and the passengers are glad to do it. I've yet to come across somebody saying, well, I was told to sit in the back. Nobody cares. They just want to go from point A to point B. And so, and they want to do it as safely as possible.
I'll take the middle seat in the back row if I get away from everyone.
Right. So we're not at a point. This is not a case where the airlines are saying, let's get 150 people together and put them all on one flight. We're talking about those cases where you've got multiple airlines going to a particular city and they're flying with maybe 8 people on board. It just does not make sense to put a couple of planes doing that route every day.